I am the monster, rah rah rah. I am the monster, rah rah rah. I am the monster, I am the monster, I am the monster. Rah,
Hello and welcome back to the channel. I'm Spencer Penrod. I am a world builder who makes worlds for stories and D&D campaigns, things like that. Today we're jumping back into Epic the Musical, where we left off last time. We watched Zeus kill all of his Odysseus's crew after they mutinied against him. They stole some some cows from the sun god, and it came back to bite them very quickly, and they all died. Um, Odysseus is the only one left, and we saw him last choose to kill all of his friends, all of these men who've been journeying with him, just so that he has a better chance of getting home himself. Today we are in the Wisdom Saga, and yeah, it'll be nice to see what comes up next. I'm not really sure where he's going to go, how he's going to get home. I think he said last episode that he'd been journeying for 12 years so far in total. And right at the beginning of this one, it tells us 7 years later. So definitely a long journey. I have no idea how close he is to home now. So let's jump in and see.
It's just me, myself, and I, stuck in my bedroom, living in this world you left behind, dreaming of all these monsters that I'll never get to fight. But boy, I wish I could, so I could bring the world some light. Cause I'm stuck with your stories, but no clue who you are, and no idea if you're dead or just too far. Somebody tell me.
So this is seeming like it's Odysseus's kid, who's now basically grown up and longing to get out and figure out what's going on with Odysseus and kind of make a name for himself as well, it sounds like. Yeah, not too much to say so far. I did notice the glass again was very clear, kind of showing off that it wasn't a localized thing where people have access to very clear, pristine glass, but it's just kind of the world in general has access to that, which we have suspected for a while, but interesting to see another point in that favor. Also, let's see. We do have subtitles. Cool.
Tell me, come and give me a sign. If I fight those monsters, is it you I'll find? If so, then give me sirens and a cyclops. Give me giants and a hydra. I know life and fate are scary, but I wanna be legendary. I'll fight the harpies and chimera, the minotaur, even Cerberus. I know life and fate are scary, but I wanna be legendary. There are strangers in our halls trying to.
This is so goofy. I like this song a lot so far, though. One of my favorites, I think. So this is, I mean, I guess we still don't have confirmation who it is, but he looks just like Odysseus. He's talking about trying to find him. The situation sounds a lot like what you would expect from Odysseus's family. We know as of last episode or last song that Odysseus is a king, the king of Ithaca. I have seen that a lot in the comments so far, but that's the first time we've actually heard it. So presumably his wife is like acting queen right now, and attracting a lot of suitors to try and marry into power. I don't know if there's too much more to say about that, other than if she's been reigning for 19 years now, right? And that means that the nature of how rulers are decided, what they do, who takes over when the ruler is gone, is pretty set in stone, and fairly comfortable with women being in power for long periods of time, which is not. I guess I don't really know how abnormal that is through history, but I feel like it's notable that they're not just passing it on to the son, who would now have to be at least 19. So definitely old enough to rule, even if it would be a bit young. So it's nice that she's able to hold on to power and not just like a figurehead, it seems. Though it seems like a lot of people are treating her like that because they want to marry her and presumably take the power from her.
Trying to win the heart of my mom, but she is standing tall. 108 old faces of men who call me small. They keep taking space and it's not much longer we can stall. Cause they're getting impatient, dangerous too. And I would fight them if I was half as strong as you. Somebody help me, come and give me the strength.
All right, that's Athena's owl, right? I'm not sure if she's coming in, but I feel like with him literally calling out for help and Athena having been disappointed in Odysseus, maybe she would take the chance to see if his kid could be a better option. With this being called the Wisdom Saga and Athena presumably showing up as her owl right now, it makes me wonder if we're going to see a lot more of her interacting with this kid, whose name I forget. Unfortunately, Telemachus, right? Is that it? I guess I'll find out for sure soon.
Can I do whatever it takes to keep my mom safe? If so, then give me sirens and a cyclops. Give me giants and a hydra. I know life and fate are scary, but I wanna be legendary. I'll fight the harpies and chimeras, the Minotaur, even Cerberus. I know life and fate are scary, but I wanna be legendary.
Where is he? Where is the man who loved you to wife? Oh, 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 where is he? Where is the man with whom you'll spend your life? Cause it's been 20 years and we still have no king.
Give me a chance, a single opportunity, and I'll overcome these obstacles and scrutiny. And
Boy, when's your tramp of a mother gonna choose a new husband?
Oh,
Why don't you open her room so we can have fun with her?
don't you dare call my mother a tramp.
oh, oh, oh.
I just did. What you gonna do about it, champ?
Somebody tell me, come and give me a sign. If I fight this monster, is it you I'll find?
All right, so we've got Telemachus here really chafing up against the situation that he's in. People are getting really impatient and kind of assuming that Odysseus isn't going to come back. They're getting more violent, more rowdy. I mentioned that it seems like the power structure is relatively stable to allow Odysseus's wife to remain in power for so long. But it seems like that's kind of reaching its end. And these people are fed up with it and wanting to change the situation for their own pursuit. And Telemachus is really not having that. Not a ton of info about the world yet so far. I'm hoping we get Athena coming in. I hope that's what that owl was meant to tease. But maybe she was just watching him and not planning to actually intervene.
Fight, little wolf, fight. Wanna entertain me? Bite, little wolf, bite. Let's see how you take this. Strike, little wolf, strike. Wanna be a man then? Fight, little wolf, fight. Little wolf, fight. You've made your worst mistake here. Might be your last one too. You'll have run out of bones to break when you and I are through. I'll teach you all the lessons your daddy never could. This cruel world doesn't give out presents just for being good. So fight, little wolf, fight. Wanna entertain me? Bite, little wolf, bite. Let's see how you take this. Strike, little wolf, strike. Wanna be a man, then fight, little wolf, fight, little wolf, fight. What? Die, little wolf, die. Don't you know it's fight or fly, little wolf, fly. Or because you had to try, little.
What I'm seeing here is that this guy is a skilled combatant. He's taking the opportunity just to kind of play with his food a bit and torment Telemachus as he beats him up. But he seems to be doing so very effortlessly. And even as Telemachus like bites his hand and draws blood, he's completely unfazed. I feel like between this and what we saw at the beginning with how all of these different people had come together to attack Troy, it feels like combat is a much bigger part of people's life than it is in modern times. And I don't know who these people are, but if they are courting a queen, however rudely they are doing it, and apparently staying in their house while doing so, that makes me think they have to have a pretty significant measure of power and prestige behind them, because otherwise there wouldn't be a reason to put up with it. So that makes me think that as you become higher up in society, the more you're expected to be able to fight for yourself. Telemachus apparently has been neglected. I don't know why Penelope wasn't, it is Penelope, right? Odysseus's wife wasn't able to arrange for him to learn, but it seems like he is pretty green when it comes to fighting. Whereas this guy seems to have a lot of combat under his belt, and it speaks to a very warlike or combat heavy society.
Needs
That's Athena again.
some help?
What's going on here?
Is your plan to stand around? Cause I suggest you fight back.
I don't know how.
Uppercut him, now.
Whoa. How did I do that? This time now moving slow.
No, I just made your thoughts quick.
Whoa, that is so sick.
All right now, let's try this again. I've no respect for bullies, those who impose their will. I've seen plenty enough to truly understand this kind of filth.
So Athena isn't just helping him here because she likes him as Odysseus' son. She says she's doing it because she doesn't like bullies. I wonder how that is distinguished for her, because mercy seems to be a concept she doesn't believe in, at least not for mortals. And she is a goddess of war, which makes me think that she gets her way through fighting a lot. In fact, I'm pretty sure she said that she fought for faith or for believers or something like that when we saw her singing last. So it's not like she is against people who fight to get what they want or accomplish things through fighting. It seems like there's some other nuance here where lording your power over someone weak isn't acceptable, but it's different than using your strength to accomplish things. It's an interesting nuance for sure, and I wonder if it'll be expounded upon, because I'm not quite sure what it means right now, to the point where I almost think it might be an excuse just to help Telemachus, because I'm really not sure how you would judge that other than intuition, whether someone is being a bully or just like using their God-given hard-earned strength to fight a war, fight a battle that is meaningful.
Teach this dog a lesson in front of all his kind. One young wolf has a larger heart than all these men combined. Fight, little wolf, fight. Show them that you've got some fight. Little wolf, fight. Take advantage now and strike. Little wolf, strike. Don't go down without a fight. Little wolf, fight. Little wolf, get up and fight. Oh, maybe I pushed you a bit too hard.
Ow. Go back and
So that's impressive. Even with a god coaching him and his thoughts sped up to the point where time looked slow, he's still losing this fight. And I mean, it makes sense if you're up against someone much stronger than you, much more experienced than you, even if you've got basically superpowers, they could still take advantage of the win, but they would definitely need experience to be able to do that. Once again, showing that this guy isn't just like a slacker, isn't just some loser here to make fun of the queen. He actually has some significant power behind him. And it also shows kind of the limits of what Athena can do, because even if she's able to understand the flow of combat and understand the correct moves to take in any situation, and even slow down time enough to let Telemachus know what that is, his body just isn't able to keep up with it. And it seems like it looked like she healed him, but even despite that, he still got beaten. So she can't amplify his body or can't do it enough to make up the difference here, which shows us kind of the limits of this goddess of war to some degree, or at least the limits of what she's willing to do. Maybe she could go harder if she wanted, but isn't willing to on this ultimately meaningless fight.
cry in your corner. Make sure your mother hears. If she won't choose a man to adorn her, will bring blood and tears. Tell me, Athena, why you came to my aid.
Seeing through it being Athena, just like his father did. It's a fun detail.
Tell me, Athena, why you came to my aid.
I had a friend before and he was a lot.
That's weird. She has always seemed to kind of shun that friend moniker that Odysseus imposed, but here she seems to embrace it. Kind of like she felt like the reason to prevent or to avoid calling Odysseus a friend would be for his own benefit, to kind of push him more. But internally, she still looked fondly upon him. Strange that she wouldn't admit it. Or maybe it was a pride thing to not want to admit it to his face and kind of give him the win. I could see either being true.
Like you, I helped him fight through war, but he had his demons too, and then we grew apart. Then his light went dark, and so I thought maybe if I'd made a different call, maybe if I hadn't missed it all, maybe he'd be fine. Maybe we'd unwind. Maybe if I help another soul, maybe if I helped you reach your goal, life could be that could sleep at night.
Athena.
It's also weird seeing how frank she is. Like, she's being really open here and really vulnerable in a way that I wouldn't expect from every god we've seen so far. Has been really prideful and arrogant and full of themselves. Some in like a playful manner, but they have always presented themselves, at the very least, as very detached from the people they're interacting with and above them. So Athena here is showing how much she is willing to open up, how much she regrets what she's done, which really must speak to the amount that she cared for Odysseus and how much she blames herself for what's been happening to him. Because I feel like from what we've seen of her before and what we've seen of other gods, this is really out of character. That she must have just been completely agonizing over it to be broken down to this point. And it's really cool to see the depth of her care that way. Strange, though, because presumably pride is still not letting her go and reconcile with Odysseus directly and patch things up. But to reach out and try to do things new or in a new and better way shows a lot of growth from her. And I had kind of thought of the gods as static characters because they're immortal. They live for like incomprehensibly long amounts of time. So you would think that they don't change very much on a human scale, but it really seems like she has here.
I don't know who your friend is, I don't know what he's like, but my time with you has been splendid. The best day of my life, cause I got in a fight and I didn't die. I've never felt strong before, you're my friend, I couldn't ask for more. And so I think maybe if life wasn't spent as planned, maybe it's time that you lend a hand. I don't think he'll mind, if not his friend, then mine. Maybe to fall is to learn one way. Maybe it's all gonna turn out great. I know we'll be fine. I know it's light, you'll find.
You're a good kid.
Thanks.
I like Telemachus a lot. He's so cool.
Best day of my life, cause I got in a fight and I
Yeah, it's really liking the songs from this so far. I'm liking it from a character's perspective, but I feel like we haven't seen a ton of world building stuff yet. Although this immediately looks like it's something different. I don't know what we're seeing, but it looks a lot more intentional. Almost, I think these are meant to be scrolls because there's a ladder here like you would see on a bookshelf. And it's also someone's bed chamber. And maybe this is a bath or a pool or something with like a skylight and a balcony. It seems like a really nice like study thing. So I'm interested to see what this is about, whose it is. Immediately we see Athena's time sound playing, so maybe it's something to do with her, or maybe she's interacting with whoever's here.
Old friend, it's been 10 years since I last saw you.
Remember me? I am the infamous Odysseus!
Let's see where you've been. Keep your friends close and your enemies closer.
Ruthlessness is mercy upon us
On
here.
the wrong move and you're done for. Anything like
Song of past romance, I see the we won't take more suffering from you.
drown in your sorrow and fears.
Captain,
I have to see her.
but we'll die.
I know.
Odysseus, where did you go?
Are they saying that this is Athena trying to find him and she can't? Because if that was meant to be Athena, did I say Odysseus trying to find him? I meant Athena trying to find him. If he's hiding from even her for 10 years, that's wild. I feel like, I mean, we haven't gotten a great idea on the scope of God's power in general, but they've seemed to know a lot. They seem to have the power to view the world, see things beyond the way mortals can, to view fate in some capacity. That makes me think he's been sheltering with another god, or maybe a powerful semi-god, powerful mortal person like Circe. And they've been keeping him hidden from the gods. That's my best guess, at least.
Morning, sleepyhead, you've been resting for a while. I swore that you were dead when you washed up on my aisle. Did you know you talk in your sleep? Tell me though, who's Penelope?
She's my wife.
Anyways, I've got all you could want here, all you.
That was very funny. Yeah, I guess I don't have anything to comment on that beyond that was funny. I don't know who this is, though, or why she seems creepily obsessed with Odysseus already, taking his ring and putting makeup on him before he wakes up. Like, that's a little crossing some boundaries there.
Could need here, just you and me, my dear, my love for life. Soon into bed we'll climb and spend our time.
I'm not your man.
I'm what you want here, I'm what you need here, just you and me, my love in paradise. Now till the end of time, from here on out you're mine, all
Hell no,
mine.
I could kill you where you stand. I'm no pet, I'm a married man.
Oh, handsome, you may try, but last I checked, goddesses can't die.
Goddess.
You're adorable. Bow down now to the immortal Calypso, here to entertain. But fear not, I bring no pain. Cause we got all we could want here, all we could need here. Under my spell, we're stuck in paradise. No one can come more.
So I'm guessing he's been stuck here for 10 years, because we've got the god or goddess who has apparently the motive to keep him captive, who wants to keep him here stuck, and who seems to be pretty hell-bent on capturing and containing him despite what he wants. So that's really creepy. It would suck for him if he's stuck here 10 years. We've seen flashes in his eyes here, too, as she's singing. He hasn't fallen to anything yet, but it's kind of hinting, to me at least, like maybe she has some kind of mind control effect she's trying to work on him. We'll see what happens, I suppose, but it's seeming to me like she's trying to build something up to keep him trapped in mind and body, as she is kind of taunting and singing with him.
Go. My island stays unknown.
No, no, I don't belong here. There's something wrong here. I won't be drawn to love in paradise. Not till the end of time. There is no way.
You're mine, all mine.
7 years she's kept you trapped out of your control.
Okay, so Athena was able to break through and see him. And it sounds like Calypso did manage to keep him trapped, like we speculated. Though not for 10 years, only 7. What a nice break for him. Oh my gosh, that would be awful. I feel terrible for him. But it's interesting that she doesn't seem to have just power over Odysseus to keep him there, but also power to hide from divination in some capacity. It doesn't seem like it was enough to be perfect or to keep her hidden forever, but it was enough to keep gazes off her for a significant amount of time, and presumably require a lot of effort to break through.
Time can take a heavy toll.
Odysseus?
All I hear are screams.
Odie, get away from the ledge.
You don't know what I've gone through. You don't know what I've sacrificed. Every comrade I long knew. Every friend, I saw them die. And all I hear are
It will be fine,
screams.
dear. Come back inside, dear. Love of my life, come back to paradise.
It's weird to me that... So, two things stand out to me here. First is that he says that she doesn't know what he's been through, which implies that for 7 years they've never had a serious conversation about where he came from or what happened. I imagine she was probably keeping him busy in more physical ways that whole time. But still, that's ages to go without talking to him. So it shows that she doesn't really care for him as a person. Yet at the same time, she keeps calling him love of my life, as though she actually cares for him and loves him, despite kind of saying that right from the beginning. It's strange phrasing when she seems to be treating him more like a pet, or slave or something, to the point where, like, obviously I don't really trust her. She doesn't seem like she does things that are very moral or good. But I am torn between thinking that she's using this phrasing because it's manipulative, and because she is trying to emulate a specific feeling or capture a specific feeling that she doesn't truly understand. Almost like she sees the concept of someone loving someone else for life and she wants that, but her emotions don't work that way. She doesn't understand what it actually is, and so she can't follow through on what those words imply. And that's why we see the disconnect between her treating him horribly and like enslaving him while still trying to be very sweet in how she talks to him.
I know your life's been hard. I'll stay inside your heart.
All I hear are
I love you, my dear. I love our time here. Life would be so much
Just
worse
let
if
me
you
close
had
my
died. Please stay
eyes.
away from harm. Stay in my open arms.
He needs my help. It's been 10 years since I last.
All right. So, yeah, it seems like he's finally realizing that he's kind of been under a spell and calling out for help. And Athena is also seemingly in the place where she's willing to forgive and help him and reconcile. I wonder if him breaking out of the spell coincided with her finding him because her efforts to see him took the spell from him a little bit, or if she was finally able to see him because he was finally able to break through the spell that was cloaking him a little bit. And it was him that kind of opened the doors to being found. Yeah, I'm wondering if we'll find out for sure. Probably not. But either way is an interesting implication, though.
Saw you.
Right, I think this is the last one we've got in this saga. So, ooh, it's a long one too. let's see what we have this time.
Father, God King, rarely do I ask for favors. Now I'm knocking on your door with hopes to save a friendship with one who's a prisoner far from home. Odysseus.
Divine intervention, is that what you seek? To untie apprehensions that were placed on that Greek? You are playing with thunder for a man full of shame, but if he's worth the risk of going under, why not make it a game? Convince each of them that he ought to be released, and I'll release him.
Who's them?
Apollo! Hephaestus! Aphrodite! Ares! Hera! Or me? What do you say?
Great. Very well.
All right.
Bring it.
That's fun characterization. So we see a lot of different gods there. We don't know what they are representing, but their introductions show them kind of in their element, presumably. I don't know how important it'll be to know their dominion, but it's interesting to hear Zeus say that there are apprehensions placed upon Odysseus, keeping him in place, and that she has to basically convince a panel of gods that he's worth releasing those for. It shows that the gods are dictated a lot more by politics than I would assume. That you have to go, or Athena here has to go to the king of the gods, not for power, it seems, but for authority. And that even he, maybe he can just overrule the will of these other gods, but it seems like even if it's only for his own amusement, he doesn't want to do that or isn't capable of doing that. And he is wanting to make a game out of it, wanting to have her convince these other gods to lessen their hold on Odysseus so that he can be made free easier.
Apollo! You all know I'm a fan of catchy songs, so with so many sirens gone, I think God is in the wrong.
They were trying to do him.
So killing the sirens is bad because they made catchy songs. And it's interesting because we've seen from other gods that they don't want mercy. But here, Apollo seems to have a different attitude where he would have preferred mercy because it let him keep his songs. So we have wondered, or I have wondered, I guess, whether this ruthlessness is the way that the world works in general, the way that the gods work in general. But it seems like it's not a universal attitude, that mercy is required or desired by some, even if it's only when it matches their whims. This tree looks like a person. Is that just me? Does that mean anything? Am I just seeing things? Whatever. Anyway, it's just interesting to see that some gods don't subscribe to that view of mercy and ruthlessness, apparently.
It worse. All he did was reimburse them. Now they'll tread with caution first to live another day and sing another verse.
If that's true, release him.
It's also interesting how he didn't seem to actually care very much there. He held an opinion, but didn't seem to care enough to learn about the situation. And in fact, it makes me think maybe I was wrong about my theory that he preferred mercy over ruthlessness, because it sounds like once he understood the situation, he was like, oh, well then ruthlessness was the right course of action. It's fine. So maybe that is just how everyone works. Yeah, interesting.
Justice not given is forced. Why should I give in my support? He sacrificed his own cohort.
Did you forget they failed to listen? He was betrayed and then imprisoned. But if you make the right decision, he can still build a future with those who miss him.
Fine, release him.
Once again, it seems like he barely cares here. And I wonder how much of this is like we see them fighting. I wonder how much of this is just that she's bested them and proves that she has more power than them, and so they're kind of respecting that, or whether it's really all meant to boil down to these really short arguments where the participants seem to barely care. I kind of think it's the second option, and that the reason Zeus called this a game is because all of the participants are kind of half-assed about it, and they're barely participating, and so it's kind of funny to make her go through and justify his actions to people who couldn't care less. That sounds like something Zeus would do if he were really this person just consumed with his own amusement rather than any sort of fairness or accurate judgment on the state of the world.
You're a little high and mighty. Odysseus claims to love his mother, but let her die of a broken heart.
He was busy fighting.
More like busy spiting. The Cyclops let him feel the pain that his mother felt and wrought.
Wait! Please reconsider this.
Really, Athena? These old tricks?
Ares!
What kind of sick coward holds back?
This is showing, so both that Aphrodite is related to Ares in some way, or has a relationship, probably not related, and that both of them have a more significant grudge against Odysseus than the rest of the gods we've seen so far. Aphrodite didn't just back down, she seems to have called in support. It's also interesting that he says, like, he calls out her old tricks. It sounds like maybe she sped up her own perception of time, but all she was doing was making an argument. So it's not like it really matters. And her argument was, please reconsider. So strange to say these are your old tricks when those old tricks are just like, hang on, take a moment, step back, think this through again.
Back his power while his friends get devoured. He didn't even fight Scylla, didn't even try to kill her. Hides inside a wooden horse to get the job done. Never handles things up front, pathetic and weak like his son.
Hold your tongue now, here stands my friend, and tell your lover that a broken heart can mend.
Okay, yeah, so they were lovers. That's the relationship we saw between Aphrodite and Ares. Nice of Athena to stand up for her friend. And she's really going to bat here for Odysseus too. So it seems like loyalty factors into her worldview in quite an important way. Which is cool. Nice that he has someone like that on his side.
You want more bloodshed, then set him free. To get back to his homestead, he'll make everybody bleed.
Release him.
Hey, baby. So many heroes, so many tales. Give me one good reason why you should prevail. He's got the mind of a genius, try harder. He's pretty skilled with words. You can do better than that.
Sounds like Hera here doesn't even have anything against him. She just wants an entertaining reason for him to get out because she knows he'll make it into legend.
He's kind of funny. Never once has he cheated on his wife. Release him.
All right. First of all, he kind of has, though I guess if he's been like brainwashed and kidnapped, I wouldn't hold it against him. Second of all, I feel like here this reason is probably speaking more to Hera's experience than Odysseus. That it was kind of a reason out of spite that her husband has cheated on her, um, and she resents that. Uh, because otherwise, I feel like, I mean, maybe everyone cheats on his wife, and that actually is, or on their wives, and that actually is some legendary feat. Um, but otherwise, it seems pretty mundane. So for that to be the reason he goes down in history is really interesting. It again feels like it's not meant to actually be that reason, but more just to speak to something in Hera herself.
I played your game and won. Release him.
You dare to defy me, to make me feel shame. No one beats me. No one wins my game. Thunder, bring her through the ringer. Show her I'm the judgment.
So he's pissed that she won, but he didn't exactly set up challenging obstacles for her to overcome. So I'm confused whether the game to him was that no one really cared, or if he was actually expecting them to be a real obstacle and he just has no insight into the situation or the people around him, and he just accidentally made things so easy. I guess I'm leaning towards the second one, because he's saying he feels shame that he lost the game, that he wasn't expecting it to win, and that it's rigged against her. But it really wasn't. So maybe Zeus here is meant to be not very intelligent. We're shown that he's very prideful, and really bored, willing to do things just for his own amusement, but not necessarily thinking through his actions very much. That's the read I'm getting on him, at least.
Call the one who makes the kingdom fall. Is she dead?
Please let him go.
Interesting ending there. To say that what got through to him, presumably, I guess we don't know how it went yet, was the hug, was her pleading. I think what that's meant to show isn't necessarily that Zeus is sentimental, but that we have seen pride be a huge motivator for all of the gods, and also Odysseus. And I think her pleading is meant to be her sacrificing some of her pride and saying, Odysseus is worth even this to me. And that's what got through to Zeus, because pride is his domain as far as he's concerned. And to see someone else that he views worthy of holding it relinquish it has got to be a meaningful gesture to him. So that is my guess at what happened here. It would be a little underwhelming if it was just like, oh, my daughter hugged me. Isn't that sweet? I guess I'll listen. And that doesn't really match with the character we've seen from Zeus so far either. So I'm really guessing that it's this pride thing. But yeah, that was the Wisdom Saga. I really, really liked that one. songs were great and it was really interesting. So I'm excited to see what comes next. Thank you for sticking around for watching the video. I hope that you liked it. I hope that you subscribe for what comes next. And as I'm getting into the end of this series, I'm starting to look into what to do next. I think I'm going to be picking up Has Been Hotel, but I'm also looking to pick up some other things. So if you've got any suggestions for what you'd like to see me react to, leave them in the comments and I will check them out, add them to my list, consider what to do next. Thank you so much, and I'll see you next time.